The salvage ship Draska moved slowly through the dusty rings of a dead star. The place was quiet, cold, and completely forgotten by every major empire. But for scavengers, forgotten places meant only one thing: profit. Rawkin, the leader of the alien salvage crew, scanned the drifting metal pieces around them with sharp eyes. He had worked in salvage for 20 years and believed there was no treasure in the galaxy he could not break apart and sell. But today felt different. The dust around the Draska was thick, almost like smoke frozen in space. It made the scanners weak and the crew nervous. Rawkin kept staring at the monitor, waiting for something valuable to appear. Then the screen blinked, showing a strange shape hidden deep in the dust cloud. "Another broken transport ship?" one of his workers asked. "No," Rawkin muttered. "Look at the size." The shape was enormous, far bigger than any normal freighter. The outline was sharp, almost too perfect. The computer struggled to scan it clearly, but even through the distortion, the crew saw something impossible. It looked human. Not modern human. Not civilian human. Legendary human war-class design. For a moment, no one said anything. Stories about old human warships were told in every corner of the galaxy. They were said to be powerful, dangerous, and alive in their own way. Some stories said these ships never fully died. They slept. They waited. They watched. One of the younger crew members whispered, "We should not go closer. Humans made monsters. Their ships destroy whole fleets." Rawkin rolled his eyes. "Those are old stories. Humans are gone. Their empire collapsed centuries ago. This ship is dead. And dead metal means money." The crew did not look convinced, but they followed their leader. The Draska drifted toward the massive object, cutting through the fog-like dust. As the ship got closer, its full shape appeared, long, armored, and scarred from old battles. Its hull was covered in heavy plating, broken turrets, and deep burn marks. Strange symbols ran along its sides, glowing faintly under the light from the dying star. Rawkin's heart beat faster. "This is a Mythic-class warship," he said softly, almost with fear. Everyone on the crew froze. Mythic-class ships were the kind of human war machines that could fight entire battle groups alone. They were old, older than most species alive today. And all of them were believed to be destroyed during the collapse. But one was here. Drifting. Silent. Waiting. "Sir," one worker said, swallowing fear, "it looks awake." It did. Even though the ship was quiet, something about it felt alive. The hull lights were dim, but they weren't dead. The metal looked like it was breathing, shifting, almost adjusting to their presence. The air on the Draska felt heavy, as if the warship's silence was pressing against them. Rawkin shook off the feeling. "Do not be afraid. This is our greatest find. We tear it apart, and we all become rich." They moved even closer. The warship floated like a giant sleeping beast, half buried inside the dusty ring. The closer they got, the more details became clear. The armor was thick and layered, far stronger than anything made today. The engines were enormous, still glowing with a soft blue light even though the ship was clearly ancient. Strange black panels were fused along the sides, human nanite systems that no alien species had ever fully copied. "This cannot be real," the youngest crew member whispered. Rawkin smirked. "It is real. And soon, it will be pieces of scrap." But the warship did not like being hunted. As the Draska aligned for docking, a low vibration moved across the warship's hull. It was small, almost like a heartbeat. Dust swirled away from the metal. Lights along the spine flickered once, then went dark again. The crew panicked. "Captain! The ship is reacting." "Impossible," Rawkin snapped. "It is only old systems warming from our scans." But even he did not believe his own words. Inside the warship, behind layers of metal and forgotten corridors, a cryopod glowed softly. A single human lay inside, frozen for centuries. As the salvage crew came closer, his vitals rose. His fingers twitched. His heartbeat returned. The ship knew its commander was alive. The ship knew strangers were touching it. And the ship did not forgive. The crew of the Draska had no idea that they had just awakened something the galaxy had feared for hundreds of years. A mythic-class human warship. With its pilot still sleeping inside. The salvage crew floated out of the Draska in their suits, moving carefully toward the giant warship. Magnetic boots clicked onto the old human metal with a sharp sound that echoed strangely through the dust-filled space. The moment their boots touched the hull, several crew members felt a vibration, almost like a slow pulse traveling under their feet. They pretended not to notice. Rawkin ordered them to spread out and start marking sections for removal. Check every panel. Anything that looks valuable, tag it. We cut the rest. One worker named Joss placed his palm on the hull, trying to scan its thickness. The scanner beeped weakly before shutting off completely. It killed my scanner. Rawkin frowned. Try again. Joss tapped the device, but the screen stayed black. Sir, the metal is blocking everything. Before Rawkin could answer, another worker shouted from above. Captain! You need to see this. Rawkin stomped across the hull with fast, nervous steps. The worker pointed at a long, deep scar on the ship's outer plating. The metal around the scar was glowing faintly, as if something inside was alive. As they watched, the glow spread, covering the entire scar. And then the impossible happened. The metal healed. Right in front of their eyes, the torn plating sealed itself, becoming smooth and whole again. The crew gasped. One dropped his tools. Joss started shaking visibly. It has self-repair nanites, Rawkin said slowly, fear creeping into his voice. This technology was banned centuries ago. It is awake, another whispered. This ship is not dead. But Rawkin was stubborn, proud, and hungry for money. It does not matter. We came here to scrap it, and we will scrap it. He ordered them to bring out the cutting torches. The moment the first torch touched the hull, the flame flickered strangely. The metal heated up, then cooled instantly. The torch sputtered and died. The worker tried again with maximum power. Nothing happened. Rawkin cursed loudly. Fine. Bring the heavy plasma drill. Two workers carried the large drilling machine across the hull and set it down. It was powerful enough to cut through military battleships in minutes. When activated, the drill glowed bright orange and hummed dangerously. Start it, Rawkin ordered. The drill touched the hull. The drill exploded. A burst of sparks shot upward. The machine flew out of the worker's hand and skidded across the hull. Alarms inside their suits beeped wildly. The worker screamed, shaking his burned hand. The metal, it rejected the drill. Rawkin's anger turned into panic. He looked around, suddenly aware of how quiet the warship was. Too quiet. The dust around them was no longer still, it moved in slow swirls, almost like the ship was breathing. Then they felt it again. A deep, heavy vibration pulsed through the hull. The crew stared at each other in silence. Did you feel that? Joss whispered. Before anyone could answer, lights flickered across the outer panels, long, thin lines of blue and white that crawled slowly from one end of the ship to the other. They looked like nerves. Or veins. The ship was waking up. The workers tried to move back, but their boots locked to the hull automatically. The magnetic pull strengthened without warning. We cannot move, someone shouted. Ship is controlling the magnetic plates, another cried. Rawkin felt sweat drip down his forehead inside the suit. Enough. Everyone back to the Draska. Now. The crew pulled, tugged, fought against the invisible force holding them in place. One managed to break free and jumped toward the salvage ship. The rest struggled desperately. Then the ship's lights flared, bright and harsh. A deep mechanical growl rolled beneath their feet, like thunder trapped inside metal. On the Draska, alarms started ringing. Inside the warship's core, long-dead systems came online again. Energy surged through old circuits. Doors unlocked. Weapons hummed softly. Nanite spread through the ship like tiny sparks. In the deepest chamber, the cryopod containing Ethan Ward glowed brighter. His heartbeat strengthened. His fingers twitched. The ship was waking its commander. Rawkin finally tore his boots off the hull and shouted at the top of his lungs, "Everyone run." But it was too late. The Mythic-class warship was fully aware now, aware of the intruders trying to cut into its body. And it was preparing to defend itself. Deep inside the legendary warship, behind layers of armored corridors and sealed compartments, a single cryochamber rested in silence. Frost covered the glass. The pod had not opened in centuries. Yet now, as the warship came alive, tiny cracks of light appeared along its metal edges. Inside the pod, Commander Ethan Ward floated in cold suspension. His heartbeat was weak, but steady. His skin was pale. His hair drifted weightlessly in the frozen liquid. He looked peaceful, unaware of the chaos happening outside. The ship's AI, an ancient human-built intelligence, activated its core personality module. Its voice was soft, calm, and almost human. "Commander Ward. Threat detected. Awakening protocol initiated." The chamber hissed. The ice melted. Ethan's eyes snapped open. He gasped, coughing hard as the pod drained. Air filled his lungs for the first time in centuries. He fell forward, grabbing the side of the chamber to stop himself from collapsing. His muscles felt weak, as if they belonged to someone else. "Ship," he whispered, his voice rough from years of silence. "How long?" "Commander, you have been in cryosleep for 312 years. Ethan froze. His mind spun. 3 centuries. Everything he knew, gone. Before he could ask more questions, alarms echoed through the corridors. The AI's tone shifted from calm to urgent. Multiple unauthorized life forms detected on the hull. Hull integrity breach attempts recorded. Defensive mode active. Ethan forced himself to stand. His legs shook under his weight, but he refused to fall. He had trained his entire life to command this ship, this mythic-class Titan. His body remembered that training even if time had passed. "Show me." Screens lit up along the walls, displaying live feeds from the exterior cameras. Ethan watched in disbelief as alien scavengers struggled on the hull, trying to escape. Sparks from damaged equipment drifted around them. Panic was clear in their movements. One alien tried firing a cutting torch again, only for it to fail instantly. Ethan's expression hardened. "They're trying to tear you apart," he muttered. "Correct. They are attempting extraction of classified systems. Open the path to the bridge." The AI obeyed. Lights flicked on in a long line, guiding Ethan through the metallic corridors. Dust lifted from the floors as climate systems warmed. The ship felt like it was stretching after a long sleep. As Ethan walked, he felt memories returning, battles, missions, friends, losses. He remembered why he had gone into cryosleep. He remembered the collapse. The last message from Earth. The silence after. But he forced these thoughts aside. Right now, he had living intruders to deal with. He reached the bridge doors. They slid open with a deep mechanical breath. The command center lit up instantly, panels glowing blue and white. Screens floated holographically, awaiting his touch. The captain's seat rose from the floor like a throne awakening. Ethan stepped forward and placed his hand on the command console. The entire ship reacted, lights brightened, engines hummed, power surged. "Welcome back, Commander Ward." Ethan sat down slowly. "Let's remind the galaxy who we are." He activated the external speakers. A powerful voice boomed across the warship's hull, echoing through every suit, every helmet, every open channel. "Step away from my ship." The aliens froze instantly. Rawkin looked around wildly. "A human?" No, that is impossible." Joss shouted, "But humans are extinct. They vanished centuries ago." Ethan's voice continued, calm but cold. "You should not have woken me." A wave of fear passed through the salvage crew. Some tried to jump back toward their ship. Others clung to the hull, shaking. Ethan switched camera angles and saw their desperation. He also saw their equipment, tools meant to tear apart human technology. He tightened his jaw. "Ship, unlock navigation. Power engines. Engines charging. Shields available. Weapons at 20%. That is enough." The warship vibrated as ancient power built inside. Dust exploded outward from the hull. The ship's massive thrusters glowed bright white. The Draska, the salvage ship, began drifting away from the force, alarms screaming. Inside the bridge, Ethan felt strength returning to him, not physical strength but something deeper, purpose. He was the last commander of a forgotten human titan. And someone had tried to steal it. He leaned back in the chair, eyes focused, voice steady. "Let's finish waking up." The Mythic-class warship roared to life. And the galaxy was about to remember humans. The massive warship, silent for more than 3 centuries, finally rose from its resting place inside the dust ring. Its ancient engines glowed brighter and brighter until the entire area looked like a sunrise in deep space. The alien salvage crew stared in shock, their bodies shaking, their minds unable to understand what was happening. Rawkin watched helplessly as the Mythic-class war machine came to life like a giant waking from a long, angry sleep. Every instinct in his body told him to run, hide, escape, but there was nowhere to go. The ship had already locked onto them. Inside the bridge, Ethan monitored the alien crew. Their faces showed pure terror. But he also noticed something else: no weapons, no attack systems, no signs of military origin. They were scavengers, nothing more. Still, scavengers could be dangerous. And they had tried to tear apart his ship while he slept. Ethan activated the ship's communication array. "Alien vessel, identify yourselves." Rawkin froze. His mouth went dry. He forced himself to answer. "We are the salvage ship Draska. We did not know, we did not expect, a human." Ethan leaned forward. "You attempted to break into my systems. You tried to remove classified human technology. It was a mistake." Rawkin cried. "We thought it was abandoned. Humans disappeared long ago, we believed this was empty metal." Ethan stayed silent for a moment. His eyes were cold, sharp, calculating. He had seen too many species use ignorance to justify their actions. But these aliens were small, unarmed, desperate. Not soldiers. His ship's AI spoke softly into his ear, "Commander, engines stable. Weapons online. Targets locked. Awaiting your command." Ethan exhaled slowly. "Stand by," he told the AI. He switched the camera feed again. The aliens clung to the hull, still trapped by their magnetic boots. Ethan tapped a control and released the locks. Suddenly, every alien's boots clicked free. Some fell backward into space, tumbling helplessly. Others grabbed onto the ship, trying not to drift away. Their panic was loud enough for Ethan to hear it inside the bridge. He activated grappling lights. Thin beams of tractor energy pulled the drifting aliens toward their own ship, pushing them gently through space like invisible hands guiding lost children. Rawkin could not believe what he was seeing. He is helping us. Joss whispered, humans were never like the legends, were they? When the last crew member floated back toward the Draska, Ethan opened the comms again. You are not soldiers. And I do not punish civilians. His tone hardened. But you will not touch my ship again. Before they could respond, Ethan tapped another command. The Mythic-class ship fired a single warning shot. But it was not a laser, it was a shockwave. A deep, rumbling burst of energy rippled outward, loud, wide, and powerful enough to shove the salvaged ship back several kilometers. No damage. No destruction. Just a message. A message the entire galaxy would hear soon. Inside the Draska, every alien fell to the floor as their ship shook violently. Stars, he could destroy us with a breath, one whispered. Rawkin stared at the massive warship glowing in the dust clouds. Humans, they were gods. We should never have come here. Ethan watched their fear with calm eyes. Ship, he said quietly, prepare for departure. Coordinates? Ethan hesitated. His home, his Earth, could be gone. Or changed. Or destroyed. 300 years was a long time. Too long. But he had no choice. Set coordinates for Sol system. The AI responded softly. Plotting route, ready. Ethan looked one last time at the terrified salvage crew. You survived. Remember this moment. Tell your people humans are not gone. We are still here. The warship's engines roared, shaking the dust ring apart. A massive ripple spread through space as thrusters pushed the ship forward with impossible force. Light filled every corner of the dead star system. Rawkin covered his eyes as the Mythic-class Titan vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind only silence and fear. The crew whispered among themselves, trembling. He will return. He is heading back to his people. What if humans come again, with more ships like that one? Rawkin swallowed hard. They will not need more, he whispered. One human ship was enough to shake the galaxy. Deep inside hyperspace, Ethan stood tall in the command bridge. His heart was steady. His purpose clear. He was the last commander of a forgotten human empire. And now, he was the first sign of humanity's return.